What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jacker here, and Belgy's with me here. What's up, everybody? We're gonna talk a little. How would I write something? Okay, so I think I did this video before, but I don't remember. So I'm gonna do it again. How would I have wrote the original Suicide Squad movie? Not the James Gunn one, but the original one. The first one with David Ayers. Yeah, David Ayers' Suicide Squad movie. I didn't hate it, but there could have been improvements. Okay. First thing, the little stories at the beginning, backstory of each villain and how they were caught and all that, leave that. Leave that. That Mwah. Mwah. Chef kiss. Enchantress. Maybe introduce Judy Moon, but no Enchantress. You're kind of jumping too early to that. I would say Enchantress maybe be a second or a third villain. Something to work up to. Okay? I'm not saying don't do her and maybe put teases in for Enchantress in the first movie. Or maybe a close credit scene. But don't make her your main villain in the first movie. Okay? It's not for anything nefarious. I'm just saying this because it's just too much of a leap. Too much convolution when you've already got Joker in there. And he's a perfect main villain. I mean, perfect. Okay, so now the whole Amanda Waller getting permission from the government to do Task Force X or Suicide Squad, I don't know how comic accurate that is. So for right now, we're going to leave that because that made the storytelling of each villain's backstory and how they were caught, made a good story reason why to have those in there. Because she's telling them about each member. Of course, you're going to leave String Shot, the guy that got his head blown off. Don't do his backstory. And yes, still do that. Because that makes sense. That's something that's supposed to happen. But, okay, so how I would do the story was Joker would end up doing something Jokery. And Amanda Waller would send the squad in with Harley to stop him for whatever he's doing in Gotham City. And why is Batman not around? That I don't know. Maybe it wasn't in Gotham. Maybe he's in Bloodhaven or... Yeah, Bloodhaven. There we go. We could do Bloodhaven. Maybe he's in Bloodhaven, not Gotham, so Batman wouldn't be around to stop him. Not that Batman doesn't leave Gotham on sometimes, but I'm just saying. That would explain why the squad could get in there before Batman. Because obviously, if it's in Gotham, obviously, they're not going to be able to stop him very easily. I mean, oh wait, no. They wouldn't be able to stop. They wouldn't be able to get there faster than bats. So, yeah, no. Because... yeah. So, yeah. And that would also... making him your main villain like this also helps with the Harley split storyline. Because... and no close-up screen of Joker coming back and getting Harley out of the prison. That would never freaking happen. No. No, he would let her rot in prison, and then she'd get out and be pissed at him. Which would, again, well, I know this wouldn't be pretty, which is why this movie may have to get an R rating, but you could also show the abuse, because in David Ayer's version of Suicide Squad, they made it look like Joker was really always kind to Harley. No. He was an asshole. Straight up douchebag. Okay? Not nice guy to Harley. Great example of this was in Batman the Animated Series. And Harley's all dressed up in lingerie. Looking kind of fine. Joker's working on something. She gets on his desk in a position like a cat or dog position, doggy style. I'm sorry, kids. Don't ask your parents what that means. I shouldn't have even said that, but that was the only way to explain it. With her knees down and here, maybe LJ can kind of like this, with the knees are on the table, but she's holding herself up with her arms. Kind of explained what that is already, but I really shouldn't have said it that way. I am so sorry, parents, on that one. Okay, so, and she goes and says, "Don't you want to ride your Harley? Vroom, vroom." And he says no. What guy in the right mind, not that Joker's ever in his right mind, would say no to that? I mean, come on. And maybe they could do a scene similar to that during the film. Similar. Not the same. Similar. But something like that. And show that Joker is not nice to Harley. Okay? The meanest thing he does in David Ayer's Suicide Squad is push her out the helicopter. But that also could have been look like he was trying to save her, because it does get blown up. So, no. Just no. Joker in the comics would have been, he would have jumped out of the thing and let it blow up with Harley on it. He does not. Yeah. So, yeah, you gotta fix that. So, make it look like Joker's a jerk. Have Harley for a while. The squad question her, question her, loyalty. Okay? To the squad. Have her go off with Joker for a little while. And Joker, well, be's Joker to her. Be's an asshole. Be's a jerk. Does some really bad, does some nice, not very nice things. I'm not going to try to explain the very nice things. But he doesn't do nice things. Okay? Try to keep it a PG rating, but you may have to slap an R on this bad boy just because of the fact that some of the things, yeah. Yeah, but try to keep it PG-13. But yeah. And then, Harley. Maybe Harley does decide to help the squad out in the end. Maybe that's the start of the turn. And then during her movie, the Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, you do the thing of her blowing up basically everything that she did in that movie. And it'd make way more sense, especially if she goes back to prison and you show she, in a credit scene, you show she's been in prison for however long, and she's like, I thought my pudding was going to come back and rescue me. Because even though she helped out the squad, maybe in just a small way, enough the Joker really didn't notice. She's still, and they still feel that she's, loyal to the Squad. Because, of course, Joker's gonna turn and get away, of course, because he's Joker, okay? And leave Harley there, and they take Harley back to prison. Okay, so members of the Squad. Okay, so we're going to leave Slingshot, as I already said earlier. And also add in, but we're going to leave all the members, to be honest. Killer Croc, Diablo, but he won't die. In this version, he does not die. He does get out of his funk thing. I still say have his story, but he does get out of his funk and all that. Gotta have Killer Croc because not me, I'm beautiful. Sorry, that line was funny. It was funny. At least I thought it was funny. But yeah, leave all the members of the Squad, including Captain Boomerang. Leave everybody. Except even Slingshot and then Killer Off. Except for Judy Moon. Don't have her on the Squad because, as I said, no Enchantress. So there's no point in having her on the Squad. But still have Rick Flag Jr. leading the Squad. If you want to say she's Rick Flag's girlfriend at the beginning or something, that's fine. You can leave that part in there. But she's not going to be on the mission. And then, so on and so forth. And you maybe have 2 credit scenes. Maybe if you want to use Enchantress as your villain in a potential second one. Maybe the first one is Harley realizing that Joker's not going to come for her. And she finally gets upset. And all that. So then she's like, when I get out of here, I can't do a Harley voice, so I'm not going to try. And then she said something like, when I get out of here, I'm going to make him pay. And then that can definitely lead you to the very beginning of her solo movie. And her blowing up Ace Chemicals, because that would make sense. Because that place means a lot to both her and Joker. So her blowing it up, yeah. Well, it definitely means she's done with Joker. But yeah, and then maybe a second scene of Judy Moon finding the Enchantress, whatever it was supposed to be. I don't remember. Her heart or whatever. Whatever turned her into the Enchantress. I don't remember on top of my head right now. And I can't look it up because I have to use my phone to film. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. It would have been a lot more coherent of a film. But that's just my opinion. You let me know down below. What do you guys think? Peace.